My definition of success when I was still in call center was like earning money and being able to be independent and all that stuff. But my definition of success now is learning and living the life that I want.
I'm Ans, and it is my pleasure to bring to you this story today. We will hear from Grass Sani, who is a social media manager, skills coach, and branding expert. Thank you so much, Sani, for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be here with you.
Would you please tell us about yourself?
I'm Sunny. I'm now 24 years old, and I teach people online. I teach practical skills online, like how to craft Facebook posters, how to create short videos with CapCut, and yeah, some tools that you will need in your daily life, like let's say like Excel or anything like that. And yeah, that's why I say I'm a skills coach. I run my own company in Madagascar, which is Better You. We teach robotics for kids in Madagascar. And lastly, I'm a social media manager where I help business owners with their online presence.
Where did you grow up and go to school? And are there any interesting fun stories you have about that?
I grew up in the capital city of Antananarivo. One thing I really loved to do when I was a kid is listening to music while my auntie was playing the music background, and I was like pretending to be the singer myself with a, you know, not that much funny story, but it's more about musical thing for myself.
Okay, so who or what influenced you to become who you are now?
The one that influenced me to become who I am now is I can say that it's my faith community, because before I was not really a good student. Let me be honest with you. I don't have good grades. I was not really I was about to abandon my studies, but one thing that made me realize is that we are we are always told at our faith community to that it's that learning is the most valuable thing to do, think. So I can say it's my faith community and my parents that influenced me to be who I am now. Yeah.
Who are the greatest inspirations in your career and life?
It's still my faith community and still my parents and Dr. Miles Monroe. Or is I read books of Dr. Miles Monroe, and this year I really want to read 5 more books of the books that he has written.
What else are you passionate about? Do you have dogs, hobbies, plants? Would you please tell us about them?
We have like a whole zoo at home. We have an aquarium with fishes. We have turtle. We have thievery animals. Like I don't know if it's chickens, how we call it, but yeah, we do have. And we have dogs, and we have a cat whose name is Tilly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who among them is your favorite?
Philip is my favorite. This is a really like a story that is so strange, but yeah, I do sing to my animals if they are sick, and I while I sing, I also take care of them, and they feel better after a few days.
Is there a funny, amusing, or unusual event that happened in your world lately?
There's one thing I'm doing lately is that I keep track of my objectives and actionable steps in a Excel file. I can show you that later, but yeah, that's what I do lately. Before I am used to just put my objectives in a Word file, but this year I put it in an Excel, like so as I can keep track of my goals. Yeah.
Tell us about your whole academic journey.
I wasn't a star student. My grades weren't the best. I wasted 2 years in 2014, and I don't think I could ever actually. I didn't think I could ever actually graduate in high school, but luckily I did. But then my mom, She inspired me to pursue higher education. And I chose law studies because there's a famous saying like, ignorance of the law excuse no one.
I saw that you study at Saint Emad. Why did you choose to study at Saint Emad specifically?
To be honest with you, to be really, really honest with you, I didn't, I thought I could make it to the university entrance exam in Atankatsu, where I actually wanted to pursue higher education in English. But unlucky for me, I didn't pass it. So I chose Scientimed because it was like an alternative for my studies. But later on, I found out that yeah, law was the best. Yeah, it was the best decision I've ever made. Yeah, it worked for me.
So what did you do to make Saint Emad work for you?
So it worked for me because I I had no other choices. I mean, I for the first year it was really really hard, but then I was motivated because I passed my first year exam, so I continued. Yeah. And so I learn on the web, I learn with YouTube, I read books and all that stuff, which is really important when you are a law student.
You started building the skills you are using today while you were a customer service advisor at Intelsia. I have worked in customer service before and I know it is tough. Would you share with us how did you manage your time?
Let me take it back in 2020. Actually, in 2019, I was hired as a customer agent. I was still a junior at that time. So I was working full time for the whole year. And then I switched to part-time job. I mean, I asked to be part-time. And well, it was a game changer for me, like switching from full-time to part-time, because when you work full-time in a call center, as you said, it's very hard to to work while you study. But I was in the morning, I am studying, I'm learning, and I'm reading books. And in the afternoon, I started to work at 4 p.m., 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it worked. Yeah. But I'm not really like a kind of person who is age 24 in my books and learning. I'm not really like that. I just study like 30 minutes a day or 10 minutes, and that's all for me.
I saw you studied at ETP. Is there a technique that you learned there that anyone can apply in their language learning journey?
I was not accepted in the university entrance, so that's why I chose ETP and Scientimat in the same time. So what I've learned with ETP is that I think I couldn't have learned it in the university if I were pursuing higher education in English. Is that the oral presentation part? At ETP, we were taught to present in front of a whole class. I mean, like 20 people watching you or even more. So, because I was a very shy person, you know. So, that's something I learned with ETP, like how to present yourself in front of a whole people and how to speak with confidence and yeah.
Now, tell us about the challenge you faced as a student and how you overcame it.
A challenge I faced is procrastination. But how did I manage to overcome procrastination? Is first of all, I switched to part time, and secondly, I keep track of my of my what I do every day. That's what I do.
Now, we have a question from Herman Piunazeze Franki.
Yeah.
Ahoana ny ataonao ahafahanao manana ilay antsoina hoe discipline?
Mois de novembre dia efa mamorona objectif ty zao juste spirituel fotsiny fa manana koa financière, business et tout. De apetrako eto ny objectifako. Misy case à cocher eto. Ninazy ty on est le 6e jour aujourd'hui de misy kazakoche isaky ny daily habits zay isaky ny action zay ataoko isan'andro zany. Misy an'le tanjona tianao ho tratrarina de mila mametraka ianao hoe ahoana inona ny ataonao isan'andro mba ahafahanao manatratra an'le tanjonanao. De ny discipline mila ny sainao mihitsy mila hoe raisonnenao ny sainao hoe mila manao an'ity zavatra ity de inona ny conséquence raha tsy manao an'iny zavatra iny de ohatrany hatrany zany hoe izany zavatra izany mila atao de mbola tsy manomboka akory ary ny taona de efa mila efa homanina daholo ny zavatra rehetrarehetra.
Why did you choose to volunteer at Sciences Physiques et Avenir?
I really love their work because it matches with Better You. Like they have some programs in schools and teaching kids, and Better You does that also. Better You teach robotic and electronics to kids in schools as well. So I really love their work. I want to go deeper.
So what are the benefits of volunteering?
When you give your time to a good cause, I'm talking about a cause that you really support. Like, let's say for me, for example, I personally love kids. So when you give time to them, you are feeling fulfilled. That's one of my core values. I want to, if you see myself, I do like many stuff. So I'm so curious and all that stuff because I really want to be fulfilled, to live life to the fullest. And also you grow your network. You meet other people that are really, wow, these people are so good, so genius.
So what types of activities are you involved in those organizations?
The same thing. I'm doing I'm crafting some Facebook posters for people. I'm also, but basically that's just it. Because in terms of my time, sometimes it doesn't match with the schedule. So that's why I do most of the things online. Yeah, but I do also give to those kind of organization.
When did you realize you want to become a social media manager, skill coach, and branding expert? And how did that happen?
First of all, I have to start with my two activities. So I'm an entrepreneur and a freelancer. As an entrepreneur, I run a company which is registered in Madagascar. And as a freelancer, I help business owners online with their social media market management. And also I teach online. I have been contacted by an organization. When I was working in a call center in 2022, I was in a burnout. Yeah, in a burnout. And I already knew I wanted to do some other things back in 2021, but I felt like it was not recognized in a way that I should have been recognized. I mean, I switched from junior and then confirmed and then senior, but I did not take the leap to go any further. And I've also watched my options if I were to grow in a regular company. Like, should I become a coach or a team leader or so? It just came from nowhere that I was like, oh, I'm gonna start my own company. What do I like to do? What do I want to be? I mean, I know how to coach people. I know this and that tool. I mean, I can be of good help to this kind of people. So I quit. I put my resigning letter, and I started in August 2022 with my company Better You. We were contacted with few schools in Madagascar to teach in schools. And later on, I also realized, because I was already doing community management in Better You, I was already doing community management. So I saw that I had also potential to grow engagement in let's say a Facebook page, because before that also, I was already posting into groups and people are reacting to what I say and replying to my comments. And I was like, oh, that too is something I can do. So that's how I started with social media management and Better You, my company.
Yeah, you already have told about this before, but is your Master of Laws degree relevant to your freelancing service and your entrepreneurship?
Speaking of freelancing services, yeah, I have helped few business owners with company registration, but that's just it. I'm not doing any other things than that. It's just what I know: how to register, bring out the documents, set up the company in going to EDBM and all that stuff. That's something I also do for business owners.
What is Better You and why did you found it?
Better You is like some personal thing for me. As I told you earlier, I was in a total burnout. I felt like I was not at my full potential. So that's how I created Better You, which is a company that creates and connects talent to businesses. For the moment, we do not yet connect yet. Yeah, I've had the possibility in earlier to hire people, but it was not consistent. But that's one thing we really plan to do this year, is to connect Malagasy talents to business owner or to brands. And we create talents in a way that for the moment, we only teach robotics for kids at school. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what we do at the moment. Yeah.
We have a question from Sarah Rakutmalal. Comment vous avez commencé à trouver des clients?
Vu que je suis social media girl, on va dire, mes clients, je les ai trouvés sur les réseaux sociaux. J'ai trouvé mon premier client, on va dire mon premier client sur Facebook. J'ai vu son annonce et je lui ai envoyé un message et on a commencé la discussion. Ben, en tout cas, pour pouvoir trouver un client, il faut d'abord être sûr de la valeur qu'on va apporter pour la personne. Et deuxième chose, il faut s'adresser vraiment à ses besoins. Vous m'avez entendu tout à l'heure, hein, je faisais plein de choses, mais je vais pas directement proposer ça à tout le monde. Ce que je veux dire, il faut juste s'adresser à son besoin initial. Après, tu pourras lui proposer d'autres choses. Et c'est ce que je fais. Et troisième chose, c'est qu'il faut juste s'adresser à la bonne personne. Si tu ne t'adresses pas aussi à la bonne personne, ben ça va pas, tu vas pas trouver ton client. Tu dois avoir une audience. Par exemple, avec Better You, on a une audience spécifique qui n'est pas la même que l'audience que j'ai avec mes activités en ligne. Je m'adresse plus à des gens des nouveaux entrepreneurs, des gens qui font des ventes en ligne et tout pour mon social media management. Mais avec Better You, on s'adresse à des institutions à Madagascar pour le moment. Pas des institutions genre des universités, mais des lycées, des lycéens ou des collèges et tout ça. Donc, il faut juste avoir une audience spécifique. Quelle est ton audience? Il faut s'adresser à cette audience et répondre aux besoins de cette audience. Voilà.
Our next question, what are the pros and cons of freelancing?
I don't want to say cons because I was still I just I do not consider myself as a really, I was not in this field for a long time. I just started on 2022. Okay. So for the moment, I was not experience. I mean, I did not experience any customer that did not pay me for the moment. But I would say the cons is like your when they pay you, it can take time. You have to say like you have to go over some emails again and like type in some emails like how about the payment of this stuff. But for the moment, I did not experience any customer who did not pay, but the delay is, it's not really that cool. And the pros is that how I think?
Mm-hmm.
The pros is that you can like when you are a freelancer, you don't necessarily work online, but let's say you are a freelancer and you work online. You can travel while you're working. That's what I do. I mean, yeah, I do travel to some communes and all that stuff. And you can also do many other jobs. And yeah, and you are like it's not like you are an employee anymore with the relationship between you and your clients, because when you are a freelancer, you consider them more as your clients, not your boss. So
Yeah.
that's one of the benefits. Yeah,
So do you have international clients?
I do. But to be honest with you, I don't have that many clients, like, but that's still one of my goals. I still, I mean, I teach online and I have few clients, let's say, and yeah.
Would you consider this your life's work?
Yeah, one of the, let's say, stereotypes of freelancers is that, like, oh, you only work for few missions, few things, and like, because when you're a freelancer, the stability is not really there. But yeah, I do want to go deeper into social media management. I want to be able to teach, to coach many people worldwide. And yeah, these are things I will do for the rest of my life. At the moment, I also teach in an organization. So that's one thing I particularly like teaching people how to use tools like Canva, CapCut, and all that stuff. But I also would like to stay as a social media manager because I love social media, and I just, the thrill of following some goals. Like, okay, I'm gonna post 5 days, 5 contents for this brand and all that stuff. And the thrill, the thrill of pursuing your goals online, it's like something like I really enjoy. I don't consider myself returning to a normal, I mean, job anymore. Not normal. I don't say normal, but let's say a non-site job. That doesn't hinders me from, if I am if someone asks me to go to do master class in person, I am willing to go and do that for, yeah. But I really enjoy working online.
Okay, how do you set your price?
I don't set my price right away. I mean, I don't have like some kind of packages, but first of all, I look at at how at their social media stuff, and how what they want exactly. I have like a formula, form. Oh no, it's not formula, but like a form, a type form where the customer fill in, and he puts there all the basics information before we have a discovery call. And yeah, I don't say the price right away, huh? But first of all, we have the discovery call after he or she fills the form. And then after taking into consideration everything the person say in the call, I say to them that I'll get back to them. And then after, I set a personalized code for them.
What does your family think about your work?
At first, because I was like, I was resigning at my job on at first they was like, what are you gonna do? You have enrolled in because at the time I was still enrolled in a master class that cost like over millions of yeah. So they were saying like, how are you going to pay that? How are you gonna provide for your needs? How are you gonna do this and that? I don't want to be because my mom did not want me to lean on her. So at first was really tough. She was mad at me and all that stuff. Most of the time, she wanted me to have my own independency, So, but now she's proud of me, because first of all, I was able to provide a job for my dad, That's one thing, because he had a problem with his previous job, and I was able to provide a job for him. I was so able to provide job for a few other people. So they are proud of me right now, and they want me to do any further and yeah, reach new heights and more, more and more.
Did you convince them like, yeah, this is good, or it just like happened over time when they see you growing what you are doing? Is that how what's happened, or did you really need to convince them a lot?
I didn't convince them. They saw by themselves how well I was thriving, how well I could support also my family in return. Because before, when I was still in a call center, it was very hard. I did support, but I was not also consistent. But when I started to grow my business, it was last year. I could support them actually from the basic needs at home, like the expenses, the living expenses, which is increasing, by the way, in Madagascar. So
Yeah.
they support me. They support me. They sew by themselves, and they even my mom. Yeah, she likes what I'm doing.
What is the most exciting project you are currently working on?
It started in 2021. Here you see me doing that chemical reaction stuffs with you. Like, what is she doing here? She's like, not really that scientific. But in 2022 or so, I learned Arduino at
Wow.
TM Education. And in 2023, I was able to start learning. I mean, I'm still learning, so don't ask me any stuff. But I also started to learning to code. So to give you a better idea, I'm working on an app. Yeah. Not me. I mean, I'm not the one who is gonna do all the work, but because
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, and the reason why I really wanted to experiment all of that it's not because I want to have certificates or I'm after diplomas or all that stuff, but I really want to put myself in the shoes of other people. Like, what are they doing? And I also want to know a bit the basics and how things work in general. So yeah, we are working on an app. It's an educational app because I'm all about learning and studies and all that stuff. That's why.
So exciting. How do you define success in your field?
My definition of success when I was still in call center was like earning money and being able to be independent and all that stuff. But my definition of success now is learning and living the life that I want, that I was striving for. Because before I could not even. Let me tell you a little story about when I was in a call center. I was fighting to work online. I mean, I was all the people, but they were saying like, no, you work part time. You cannot work on at home and all that stuff. But I was fighting for that, so I could have. So they accepted in the end, so that I can work at home while I was still part time. But so for me, definition of success is just living the life you want to live, like working from home, living a peaceful life, beauty of nature with your animals and all that stuff. That's for me, and living with your family as well. Because before I was not really into my family. I was like not really that supportive, to be honest. But now it's different. So yeah.
What was the best testimonial that someone ever gave you?
Let me share you. It's not a testimonial of a customer or something like that, but it's someone who I coached. Let's say I coached, but I also helped with her with some tools, and I saw her growing. It's always good to see someone who sends you this kind of messages I also did receive few offers from my people I coach online, because I also coach some people abroad as well. But yeah, every time I connect with people and that they are feeling like being uplifted, that's one of the best testimonials I could ever receive. Yeah.
I know you are like in the beginning phase right now, but what advice would you give to someone who is starting or planning on entering in your industry?
The advice is, you don't have to be defined by the years of experience you have. I mean, like, for myself personally, when I stopped with, when I resigned to Intelsia, there were some few companies who were still coming to me, and when they interviewed me, and I, I they did not see exactly what skills I could bring. So what I advise you is that to learn skills as many as possible, and not to be defined by the years of experience, because these skills, it's true that I am starting my entrepreneurship journey and freelancing phase, but I've already acquired the skills while I was still working in a call center. So the thing is that you need to learn as much as possible. You just learn any relevant skills that you want to apply. And when you start as a freelancer, it's not you start and then you learn. It's you learn while you are freelancing. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. I'm still learning now. And yeah, so I'm continuing to do.
As we wrap up this interview today, how can people contact you?
You can contact me on LinkedIn or on Facebook as well. My name is still the same, Grace Sunny R. R stands for my family name. You can also contact me on WhatsApp, and this is my number if you want to contact me. And feel free to connect on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Sunny, for joining me today, and thank you, the viewer who make it till the end. Stay tuned for next videos.